Hello, welcome to Movement Not Miracles. Thursday, and today is a bit of a from your head to your toe. So Movement Not Miracles is your bite-sized version of some ideas for keeping your joints mobile, stretching through some of the muscles, and warding off those aches and pains that we can get from getting too stiff and not moving quite as much as we could. So if you find that you are sitting for long periods of time, unless you are a much better person than me, you're probably not going to be sitting in a really good posture. I catch myself slumping in my chair, which means I get very round-shouldered and my spine is not particularly well positioned. And that's when you can get stiffer and get some aches and pains, and then you don't feel particularly brilliant. So keeping moving is one way of keeping those joints healthier and looking after your posture so that you don't stiffen up and don't get those aches and pains. So frequency is key. You can do some of these that I'll show you, or Movement Not Miracles is all about. What can you do frequently, regularly throughout the day, perhaps when you are waiting for the kettle to boil, making a cup of tea, or cleaning your teeth, or whatever it may be. So today, from your head to your toes. So I'm going to do, you can do most of these, just checking quickly, you can do all of these seated or standing. So Martha's just jumped back on her chair, which I'm going to need in a second. She joined us yesterday. I think she's going to join in today, but that's okay. I'm doing these standing because I've been sitting down for most of the morning, so it's standing in itself, standing nice and tall, it feels quite nice actually. So whether you are seated or standing, make sure your weight is evenly distributed between your left and your right side. So sitting on the bones of your bottom if you're seated, so don't sit on the fleshy part of your bone, think of sitting up nice and tall. And if you're standing, stand up. Imagine someone's pulling you nice and tall by a rope from the crown of your head. Weight evenly distributed and making sure that your bottom is tucked under. So we do not want a sticky out bottom like that. We want our bottom tucked under. I don't know whether you can see with these trousers on. But we don't want to overextend, have a big lumbar arch. So tucking our bottom under, so you've been working through your bottom for that to happen. And then we're just going to do some work to starting off. We're starting up here, we're going to work all the way down. Do some work with our neck. So looking over one shoulder and just holding it for a second, and then looking over the other shoulder. And actually I just reminded myself, whilst you're doing that, I was holding my shoulders quite tensely. So think of just relaxing through your shoulders, shoulders back and down, away from your ears, but nice and broad across your collarbones. So we don't want to be like this, we want to be like this. Squeezing your shoulder blades together on the back of your chest and keep them there whilst you turn your head. It's really easy for this to happen because we get tense in our in the muscles in the top of our shoulders and into our neck, and the danger is that we spend most of our time like this, and that's why we can end up with some the tension pain that comes from our muscles being knotted and tense like this all of the time, just like that. Strange face, I'll carry on. So which side did we just do? Back and down, so we're going to turn the other way now. So just moving your head from side to side, and again this is a really simple one to do, and you can do this wherever you are, helps just keep those muscles looser. And then for a bit of a stretch, I think we did this one yesterday, stretching away with one arm and then just pushing your head over to the side, so you've got a nice stretch down the muscle. Move my hair out of the way. You're just elongating through this muscle here and into your neck, and then we do the other side. So we're not forcing our neck over, it's just a nice subtle move. Don't forget to be sitting or standing tall. Try and relax relax through your jaw when you're doing this. If you catch yourself and your tongue is in the roof of your mouth, your tongue is a muscle as well, and that means you've got some tension through your tongue, which means you're likely to have tension through your jaw, and you're likely to have tension through your neck. So relaxing your tongue into the base of your mouth is a good start point. Okay, shoulders. So we're just going to take this into some shoulder rolls, and again, these are really easy for you to do wherever you are. Lifting your shoulders all the way up to your ears and then squeezing your shoulder blades together as you bring your shoulders back and down. So you get some nice space across your collarbones, but you're also encouraging those shoulder blades to move on your back. And then if you can, increase the movement, make the move as big as possible using your arms. And if you can, arms all the way up. Now my shoulder flexibility prevents my arms from going back behind my ears, but I'm going to focus on what I can do and work as much as I can. So all the way back and down. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to do a bit of a shoulder stretch across the front of our shoulders. So if you reach behind you with one arm, so my right arm I'm reaching behind, you can just see my fingers poking through there, and I'm just going to support that arm with the other one. So if I show you from behind, so my right arm is stretching back behind me, just supporting that arm with my left, and straight away I can feel, this is my stiffest shoulder, I can feel some stretch through the front of this shoulder here. So shoulders are back and down, and we're just encouraging those shoulder blades to squeeze together on our back chest. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So reaching behind with the other arm, and then really squeezing those shoulder blades together. I can still feel that stretch on my right actually, because my right shoulder is quite stiff, but I'm concentrating on my left. So you're getting some stretch through the front muscles in your shoulders and probably into your chest, which is absolutely fine. And then just to concentrate on the chest, we'll just stretch through those chest muscles. They can get really short as we're round shouldered, as we sort of sit like this. The muscles in our chest can shorten. So encouraging them to stretch can help with the position of our shoulders and the position of our upper back. So strengthening the muscles in your upper back and stretching the muscles across your chest can help avoid that rounded shouldered posture. So we're just going to, I'll show you from the side, clasp your hands into the base of your back, and we're just going to bring our shoulders back and down, squeezing those shoulder blades together without letting our bum stick up and without letting this happen. So everything stabilised from the waist down, but you've got a nice stretch, which you might feel in your shoulders as well as your chest, and that's absolutely fine. And a couple of nice breaths. Okay. Now we're going to move to a twist. Twist for our upper back. I'm going to see what Martha does, so I'm going to move the chair over. She's sitting back on her chair, because this is where she sleeps. I have moved her off, but I'm only going to sit on the edge of the chair, so that's fine. I won't sit on you, Martha, I promise. So sitting on the edge of the chair and sitting nice and tall. And again, twisting through the spine is a good way of keeping some mobility through the vertebrae in your back. They should move, they should not be solid. Different areas of your back moves more than others, and that's fine. But again, we can get aches and pains because our back stiffens up. So just doing some regular twists, they don't need to be complicated, can really help keeping our back mobile. So start off with sitting nice and tall on the bones of your bottom. Imagine that rope pulling you vertically, so we're not slumped down like this. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back and down, one arm across the opposite thigh and reaching behind you with the other arm. And think of, see if you can feel the twist starting at the bottom and then moving all the way up to in between your shoulder blades. And if you look where you want to twist towards, that can help get a little bit more movement. And we'll do the same on the other side. Keep breathing, don't forget that bit. Now it might be, to start off with, you want to just do some twisting moves, which just, this chair's on wheels. I'm just going to do these standing up. The chair's on wheels and that's not very safe. So if you just twist through your back to encourage some movement first, that might be, you might find that useful. And then you can take, it's sometimes easier doing where you hold the twist seated, particularly if you're bracing yourself against your leg and the back of the chair, you might find that you can twist slightly more. I certainly can get more movement in my upper back if I do the twist like this. And we'll do one more on the other side. Okay, and then we're going to do some side bends. I'll just move the marker out of the way. So side bends, again we're going to go for movement and stretch. Feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, and then we're reaching down with one arm and then down with the other arm. And as you get a bit more movement, it sometimes takes, well, it takes me a couple of goes for my spine to remember what's happening, and then you can increase a stretch up and over, and the same on the other side. So we're just encouraging a bit of movement through the spine on the other, in a different plane. For those of you that don't know, these are now christened Bendianas. There we go. And then into our hips, or focusing on our hips. You can do these seated as well. So to start off with, we are just going to lift our knee up towards our chest. So, and whilst you're here, you can just wiggle your ankles as well and get some movement through those ankles. So if your balance isn't brilliant, you can do these seated, sitting nice and tall and lifting your knee up towards your chest, or you can do them lying on the floor, whichever's easier. So you can lay flat with one leg straight and then pull the other knee up towards the chest. So the knee comes towards the chest and not the chest to the knee. So we're not doing this. This isn't getting the movement through the hips. So knee up to the chest. And we're just moving our ankles whilst we're there. And then finally, a bit of movement through the toes. It's really easy to forget about our feet. So again, if you are seated, you can just roll your foot so that you come up onto beyond the ball of your foot so that you're bending your toes backwards. And you can just alternate. Another good way of massaging the bottom of your feet is using a golf ball, or you can buy these like little massage balls with little dimples on them, and you can just roll them underneath your foot. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this. A golf ball works brilliantly. So that just can help release the tension in the base of your foot. And rolling through your toes is another good way of just stretching through that big tendon through the bottom of your foot. But also, you can kneel down if you are able to, tuck your toes underneath you and just rock from side to side. So again, that's getting a nice big stretch through my big toe in particular. Martha's looking at me as if to say, what are you doing? I'm not going to steal your chair anymore, Martha. So looking after our feet is also important. Hopefully that's given you some ideas of some of the things that you can do head to toe. You can work from your head to your toe in one session, you can mix them up, you can pick one movement to do throughout the day and do lots of that and pick a different one the next day. As long as you are moving, then you are going to be doing your joints and your posture some good. So look after yourselves, have a lovely weekend, try and get outside. That's my mission today, to get outside for some fresh air. It's just so important at this time of year, particularly as the days are getting shorter. It's so easy to squirrel ourselves away and not actually go outside. Check out the website for more ideas on how to look after your health and well-being. www.eatmovebehappy.com. We have some online coaching programs to help people with their eating habits, with their exercise habits, look after their mental health and well-being. So please check out the website to see how we could help you, or if you know of anybody else, let them know. Share Movement Not Miracles and have a lovely weekend. I will see you next Tuesday.